And we know attacks on Jewish communities here in the U.S. surging nearly 400%. Just last month alone in the U.S., there were 312 anti-Semitic incidents, 190 of those linked to the war in Israel. But this same time last year, there were 64 incidents reported and only 4 were Israel-related. So here with us now to talk about combating anti-Semitism amidst this war is Michal Cotler-Wunsh. She's an Israeli special envoy for combating anti-Semitism. Thank you so much for being with us. I would like to talk to you about that House committee. But first, I want to talk to you about Paul Kessler. Of course, a 69-year-old Jewish man killed over the weekend during dueling protests. We know it is still being investigated. We know the L.A. mayor, though, has said that there is no room for hatred. The sheriff, during the press conference yesterday, said that there had been increased patrols. There's more attention on this. But what more needs to be done from your perspective?
So, first of all, thank you. And thank you for mentioning Paul Kessler, a name we should all be saying. Because, in fact, the very same anti-Semitism that fueled the atrocities, the war crimes, the crimes against humanity of 10/7, those very same anti-Semitism actually enable and fuel the denial, the justification, the support for Hamas, the genocidal terror organization that perpetrated the atrocities of 10/7, and the attack of Jews in the United States and all over Europe, in Berlin, in Paris, in New York, in Washington, and right here in Chicago. It is unfathomable that the atrocities perpetrated against Jews in Israel would lead to the attack of Jews on university campuses, on the streets, on social media. And yet, here we are. And 10/7, like 9/11, exposed a lot of masks that were on for a long time and that we cannot ignore.
I actually wanted to talk to you about that because, so many people feel like, oh, well, this is coming out of nowhere. Well, why are we seeing this exponential increase, so to speak? But, I mean, you believe I would assume those feelings had to be there.
So not only were they there, but they have festered for decades. The understanding that the modern, mutated, mainstream form of anti-Semitism that's become acceptable, actually, and we see it, including in demonstrations all over the United States, is anti-Zionism, right? The negation of Israel's very right to exist. That is the Hamas charter that calls for the annihilation of Israel and the murder of Jews, just like Mein Kampf. That is the modern strain of anti-Semitism, an ever-mutating, very, very old virus that mutates over time, each time latching on to the guiding social construct of the time, religion, science, and now human rights. The understanding that the state of Israel has been demonized, delegitimized, and applied double standards to, just like the individual Jew that was barred from an equal place in society at the time of the Holocaust. Atrocities too terrible to imagine, but not too terrible to have happened, which October 7th echoed. Burning, babies in an oven, raping, brutalization, so terrible that we cannot fathom them, and yet the Jewish people have not been faced with such atrocities since the horrors of the Holocaust. We would be remiss if we did not name it for what it is. Anti-Zionism is the new mutated form of anti-Semitism, and to combat it, we have to be very clear on that.
And I do think, Michal, that sometimes there is this desire, this need to almost talk around things. So I want to talk about this House Judiciary hearing, this committee hearing that is happening today. We heard some testimony there. Obviously, we are seeing this surge in U.S. support for not only Israel, but also for the citizens of Gaza, which is many times automatically linked to someone supporting that, meaning that they are also supporting Hamas, that they are pro-Hamas, although many people in those groups feel that there is a dividing line. They do not consider themselves pro-Hamas. What is your message to those people within the group?
To me, the most important thing is supporting Hamas is not supporting Palestinians. Anybody that cannot condemn the atrocities of 10/7 perpetrated by Hamas, a genocidal terror organization, but one proxy of a genocidal terror regime in Iran that seeks to annihilate the state of Israel and murder Jews, is not because in any way are they advancing the Palestinian cause. That is not caring for humanity or for peace. In fact, if you cannot condemn those atrocities, you are not actually supporting Palestinians. You are just supporting the hatred of Jews, not only the hatred that perpetrated those atrocities of 10/7, but the hatred that we see, as you said, on the streets, on college campuses, on social media platforms, right here in the United States of America. It is Palestinians that are held hostage by that same genocidal terror organization. Freeing Gaza requires freeing Gaza from Hamas.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.